Welcome back. This is a video about exporting your drawing, your rendering into Lumion. Revit does a pretty good job at rendering, and what I like to do in Revit is I like to put my shadows on all the time. I click on here, shadows on, and I take it out of sight and I put it into the 3D, and I press down the shift button and I press down my mouse, and I can roll it, and it puts shadows on there. And shadows are important too. You don't want it to obscure the architecture. I think that's too much shadow, so I'm going to roll it back around, and I like that little piece of trellis on there. See that shadow from the trellis? I like that on there. That gives it a little bit of relief, but I think I want more of an angular shadow over there, so let's roll it again. Let's see if I roll it this way. A little bit too dark. You don't want it too light, too dark. Let's see. That might be, this is pretty good right here. That's a good shadow. And then I render it. I go to fine rendering, and then I render the ray trace there. So it takes some time, and you can see the difference in Revit and later on Lumion. As you can see, it looks pretty good. I have the stucco, I have the 30-year shingles, I have the wood trellis, I have the wood railing, I have a little pond. What I would like to do is I would like to change the grass to a lighter grass color. So that's what I would do. I could actually go back there, and that way it will contrast against the trees and provide a more beautiful look to it. So I can click on the surface, and I can edit surface up there, and I can find some grass. Click on by category, you'll see 3 dots. You can type in grass. If you've saved something, it should say grass in there. And if you don't have anything, there's some right there. That's a little bit too dark, but remember, you can always go to the world here, create new material, identify it, go to appearance, go to non-selected, and find a good grass color. Sometimes it renders darker, or sometimes it renders lighter or darker than what you see. So I'm going to put a check there, and it's asking me to save. That's pretty good. Now I'm going to render that again in ray trace. There it is. Okay, as you can see, there's a lot more contrast. It appears that I might want something that's in between that light green color and the dark green color, but you know how to do that, and it has a decent rendering. Let's show you how to do that in Lumion. So for now, you have to get out of your rendering and you have to go to the 3D. So let's go up and go to your shaded. I usually go to shaded. It's very quick when it updates, and let's go to hidden lines. There you go. That's even better. Now let's go to the 3D view up here, and in order to go to Lumion, you've got to go to the 3D. See this 3D right here? Click on that. It should shade, and then your Lumion icon should show up here. If not, you must export it with an FBX file or some other equivalent to get it into Lumion. And then see this live sync? Just click on it and it'll live sync it. It'll synchronize your Revit drawing into Lumion, and now you'll see what Lumion looks like. And you'll be able to insert trees and people and cars just like Revit. But it eliminates everything except your three-dimensional model. All the trees and cars and people will be gone in Lumion. So let's go to Lumion, and we pick you can pick a scene here, and there it is. Okay, so I'm looking at my deck right there. So, and I'm going to change it later. Let's see. If you press down the right button on your mouse, you can roll it up or down. If you press it down and the mouse wheel, you can move it left or right. So I'm going to get it so that it's in the middle, and I'm going to turn it a little bit. There you go. All right, so there. All right, let's see. And I'm going to show you that you can put some trees and things in there. I always like my horizon approximately below the second floor, so that's not so foreshortened. But Lumion foreshortens a lot, so it's only a 1-point perspective, so you will have to adjust that. These are your movement arrows. You can select that. These are your materials where you build. You can put people in there, and I always double click. And I always put a generic person in there, okay? And they'll put them in perspective. Try not to put a person so close or in front of the architecture. Make them sort of accents. So this person is coming up the stairs over there, and I'm going to put his wife in there. She's going to be asking, where are your keys? There it is, right there. So they're right there. So, and then I'm going to double click on the trees, and the trees are in perspective. Try not to put the trees in front. Put them. I'm gonna put one back right there, and I'm gonna put one. Make it look natural, and of course I'm gonna put one over here, and one a little bit closer. There you go. Revit tries not to put them on the architecture. So one over here, that's pretty good. Okay. And then what you can do is you can put your cars in there. Double click. And you click on the cars. And one thing about cars, try not to overload. 1 or 2 cars one is enough. And try not to put the car so close, because now it starts looking like a stretched limousine, because Lumion only does a 1-point perspective, and all the lines converge back. So it elongates as it foreshortens. So this doesn't look like a compact car anymore. It looks like a long stretch limousine. Okay, so that's pretty good. That's the kids coming over for Thanksgiving. Okay, and you can change the lighting, you can change sound, you can put some furniture, and you can also change the lighting or the materials. So if you click on materials, there's your material editor, and you click on what do you want to change. Let's say the surface there, and I can change it to the color. And I say I want a nice lightning white beige stucco. Let's see. You can change it to blue, or you can change it to a warmer stucco color. Let's see. That one's good enough right there. And you put the check there. And you can change the landscape and the lighting. So the lighting, remember what I told you about the shadows in Revit? You can clearly see those in the shadow, but here you can change that. Look at that. Look at the way try not to have these jagged edge. Lumion will do jagged edges when it's doing it on the border. Try not to do that. And I do like to see these shadows of the trellis and the fence in there, so I'm going to try to look for that. Look for a view that flatters. Look at the trees. That's really good. Look at the shadows going over the solar panels. That's pretty good. And this is very light shadow on the fence. That looks very naturalistic. That looks good. So at west it's good. This is a little bit too dark right here on this whole facade, so I'm going to move the sun back around and see if I can get some sunlight. Oh wow, that looks good. I'm trying not to do the jagged edge thing. That's pretty good right there. That's enough right there. That's pretty good. Okay, and you can change it from day to night. Okay, so all right, and you can make it cloudy or sunny. All right, and that's your Lumion rendering there. So we'd like for you to see if you can do yours. Okay, and once you're done, you hit the save icon and save it as of, give it a file name, and remember where you're saving it. Then you hit your save, and we put down final Lumion rendering BB, and I'm saving it in my document. Save. Okay, there it is, and it says it did it. Okay, great. See you next time.